welcome to another episode
of
Our Adventures in Middle-earth, and we're a little bit late on this one.
Little bit.
We're like cutting it by the skin of our teeth here.
When work gets in the way.
I know.
Work gets in the way.
It's been a ridiculous few weeks.
Yeah.
So we have not been able to get together, and the heat here has been ridiculous.
Yeah.
And of course, that's your job, is to keep people cool in the summer and warm in the winter.
Yeah.
So you've been busier than a one-armed paper hanger, as my dad used to always say. But yeah, we had so we're almost just over a week away from the next tournament. So that's how late we are here.
Oh.
So like it was like,
don't remind me.
It was June 23rd we were at the last tournament.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, what is that? Like 3
It's 3 weeks.
This weeks?
Weekend coming up.
Yeah, so it's been a little bit. But yeah, we went to a tournament called Holes Are for Hobbits.
Yep. It was run by Evan.
Evan ran it, and it was in Cambridge, Ontario, and it was in a store that none of us had ever been to before. Forbes
Never
Hobbies.
even heard of it.
Yeah, never even heard of it. And it was one of those stores that's like in like an industrial park, so it's not like on, Main Street, Cambridge or whatever.
Yeah.
It's in an industrial park where the stores are bigger and the rent is cheaper, and they have room for a gaming area in the back. So
yeah.
Yeah, what'd you think of the place?
Other than it being like stupid hot in there, midway through the day, it was good. Like there was lots of room. We had tons of room.
It was a good sized gaming area. Yeah, like for a tournament of how many did we have there anyways? It was 20-ish, 22
I think
maybe,
so.
something like that.
Yeah, there was a lot of new people too.
Yeah. So like I think for like a tournament of 24 or under, it's good, right?
They had room for more tables.
There was another couple tables there off to the side.
Yeah.
Only one bathroom in there, which can get to be a problem with that many guys in there. But
the bathroom was
Yeah, but anyway, that's a minor thing. But it was decent. It was decent, and the store was alright too. It had a fairly good selection of stuff in there.
They did.
Yeah, like a lot of different stuff.
Stuff that we're not used to.
Yeah. So that was good to see. Did you buy anything?
No Hobbit.
No Hobbit. What a shock.
I did buy something, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. So we mentioned this, I think, in the last episode, was kind of an unusual point level in this one.
Yeah.
369 points.
Yeah. It's like he was playing darts. And it's like 369, as the guys would say.
Except for it's 180.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. But so they did have he had one comp restriction.
Yeah, it was kind of a tough one to get around.
Yeah, no, again, it was a little unusual. Never really seen this one before. And it was, you must have a captain.
Basic captain profile.
Or something like a captain.
Yeah.
Didn't actually, could be a chieftain or something like that. And you had to have 12 warriors from the same unit selection. Like, they had to all be orcs, for example, or all be goblins, or, whatever.
Yeah.
Like that. So, that was surprisingly restrictive when making your list. Because that was the core of your army, and of course everybody, as soon as you figure out what army you want, you immediately gravitate to a character in that, like a named character or whatever in that list.
Yeah.
And this here, like, actually made it difficult to take what you wanted to take. And I know, because I made like 10 lists for this tournament. I went crazy because I love this kind of point level. Like, I think this is the point level, for me anyways, that I enjoy the most about this game, because it's really true skirmish at that point. It's like 2 units, basically. You have 2 warbands.
Small little...
That's the way it is. A couple of characters and...
Nothing too... Well, you could probably get something overpowered, but...
Yeah, well, we saw some different lists at the tournament, that's for sure. So... But I had a lot of fun just like building lists for this. And then I ended up taking like the most plain, boring list possible. Just like Uruk-hai, Isengard, 2 units, 1 captain. I have Vrasku, a bunch of scouts, 4 crossbows, some scouts with bows. And then my big thing that I threw into really tactical thing was 6 warg fell wargs.
Yeah.
And Yeah, they were poop in the game. You know, so they had a few moments where they did okay for mission stuff, but yeah, they die so easy.
My list was interesting. I went with the all-bow Mirkwood force. So I had a basic captain leading 12 Mirkwood Rangers, which is expensive.
Yeah.
And then I had Legolas with Orcrest and 1 Mirkwood Ranger. It was his buddy.
Yeah.
I went with Orcrest over the cloak, the Elven cloak, because I figured if I was fighting against Goblin Kings, which we thought there would be some there.
And you ended up fighting.
I did end up fighting one.
Well, you actually fought 2 Goblin towns, but 1 Goblin.
One Goblin King, yeah. And I ended up wounding him with just bow shots. So.
Oh really?
Yeah.
But did you use Orcrest?
In one game, yeah.
Did you do more than 1 wound on some orcish?
No, because I think the one time I was in combat with him, I was surrounded by goblins and I just got crushed and killed in one go. It was not a good game.
Yeah. So you took a little bit of an unusual army, a very small elite army.
I didn't think I was going to do that well at all, and I don't know, my game started out well.
Yeah. So we're not going to go into all of the gory details of these games because we've had enough of the 2.5 hour episodes.
Yeah, we're just going to give who we played, what mission it was, and if we won or lost.
Yeah.
So there's 5 games.
5, yeah, and this was the one thing that I thought was could have been better, let's just say, and that was the 50 minutes per game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't enough.
No.
Like a lot of the games didn't finish. I don't think I finished a single game actually.
No, a lot of my games went to time.
Yeah, and I know a lot of games only got like 3 turns in because some people had huge armies.
Yeah, you'd get to the point where 2 armies would clash, and you'd have a round or maybe a round and a half of combat, and then it was, okay, time's up, and you're like, you just started fighting.
It was that time I think was governed by the fact that the store only opened at 11. It's like normally we start at like 9:30 or whatever.
Yeah, it was
10 o'clock, and we lost a chunk of time because of that. But I love the point level. I love 5 games, but it would have been good if we could have had like a little bit more time, an hour and even 5 minutes or whatever. But first game was Domination.
Yep.
Who would you play?
Taylor.
Oh, you played Taylor. Okay.
Yeah. Mission I thought for sure I was going to lose playing all.
How many models in your army?
13, 15.
Yeah.
And he was playing Minas Tirith.
Yeah. And
he spread his guys out to go to the objectives. Well, we said we weren't going to get into it.
Too much detail.
Too much detail. I ended up doing really well because I was able to shoot stuff. And Mirkwood Rangers do very well when they outnumber stuff that's shielding. Like, when there's no chance of my guys dying, my guys are awesome. The second they get into a fight where there's a chance of dying, they suck.
So what was the result?
I won.
You won?
Yeah.
Very good.
I ended up winning with, I think it was by a couple points.
I played Dane, and he had Wood Elves. And what board did we played on? OHA George's Osgiliath board, which is an amazing board. That was a fun board to play.
This is the game.
Yeah, shut up. So it was a really close game.
Yeah.
And right at the end, we figured it out, and it was really tight. And we figured it out, and we figured it was a tie. So we were pretty well walking up to the TO to tell him it was tied. And then somebody came along and told us that we didn't figure it out right. And what happened? I lost by 1. So thank you.
Well, you shouldn't have been speaking out loud.
Yeah, so we did figure it out wrong though.
Yeah.
So and it ended up that Dane won. And it was a really fun game. I like playing him. He's a really good guy to play.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so he won that one.
Round 2 was Seize the Prize. Objective in the middle. I ended up playing on the same table, which had like a little hill in the middle, and the objective was on top of that. And I played against Dwayne with Goblin Town, and he had the Goblin King. And I just lined up, and shot at anything that got close to the objective. And the Goblin King tried and tried and tried, and I shot him.
Was he like on it and just couldn't roll a 4+ type thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
And then the turn he grabbed it, I just killed the Goblin that had it, and then the game ended because of the time. So I won by 1 victory point because I wounded his leader.
That was it.
That was it. 1-0.
Right on. I played Aaron.
Yep.
And he had Thranduil's Halls.
Okay.
So he had like a captain, he had Toriel.
Yep.
And then a whole bunch of elves with a fair few bows in it. I ended up winning the game, and it was basically, I marched right up the center with my whole army pretty well. Left a few of my crossbows back to shoot. And I grabbed it and basically did like the football running back kind of thing and ran up just to cross over the center line of the table to grab a few extra victory points. So I forget what the score was now because it was like a long time ago, 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's like an eternity.
6 or 7 to. I don't know if he got any points or not. I forget, but it was a good game as well.
Yeah, game 3, Lords of Battle.
Mm-hmm.
This is where the day turned on me. Played against Ronan.
Okay.
With Goblin Town.
No Goblin King.
No Goblin King. That army was actually like...
So he obviously, he just had a Goblin captain? Or what were
he had a
his heroes?
captain, Grinna, and maybe 2 captains in Grinna. And then just like 3 warbands of guys and Gollum.
So he went for the 3rd warband.
Oh no,
basically.
he had he also had some spiders from Denizens.
Yeah, so he went with numbers.
Yeah.
Basically.
And Mirkwood elves with bows are very good at shooting goblins off the table.
Yeah.
But
4+ the wound.
I completely destroyed the kill ratio.
Yeah.
But I ended up losing the game still because the last turn of the game, when I was broken, my captain, who is my leader, decided to roll double 1s for his courage check, which brought me up to 8, and then I had 1 more because of his will, but no might, so I was at 9. He ran away, which meant he got 3 kill points, and he killed my leader. And the 3 points, I believe, put it so that it was like it went from the best wound tally to the middle, and then he broke me and killed my leader, so he ended up getting 1 point more. I think it was like 6 to
Snake Eyes for the
5
win.
or something. Yeah, and I was 1 goblin away from breaking him. Like he was right at half. 1 more model and I would have broke him and I would have won the game. So I lost because I didn't kill 1 guy and my captain ran away.
Yeah.
1 in 36 chance.
That's rough.
Yeah. But other than that, it was okay.
This is where, well, I had won 1 and lost 1 at SI, so I can't say that it really where my thing turned because I lost.
Yeah.
I played Michael Campbell, and I know I took a picture of his army. I hope I can find it and put it up here.
It was...
He had like an army that was really unusual.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was Moria, and he had, I guess he had a shaman as his captain.
No, he had a normal captain with a bow.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Because he also had a shaman.
He had a normal captain with a bow, leading 12 guys. Basic goblins with like spear and shield. I don't think he had any goblins with bows other than his captain.
No, I don't think he did.
And he had a shaman and 2 dwellers in the dark.
And 3. It was either 2 spiders.
2 spiders.
Giant spiders.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so.
Oh, and a bat swarm. He had a bat swarm.
Did he?
Yeah. He did.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I don't remember the bat swarm. But this one was Lords of Battle.
Yeah.
So I figured, perfect. I'll stand still and just shoot him. He's got to come across the table at me. And I got to give a little bit more info on this. Because this game, like, I still am not over it.
We're breaking our rules, man.
I know, I'm sorry. But, so that's what I did. I waited, I ran 2 or 3 of my fell wargs around the back to try to draw off his spiders because I didn't want them messing me up.
No.
Right? And he went for it and he killed them.
Yeah.
Right? But they didn't play a part in the game other than that. So I was happy with that trade. He walked up. I tried to distract his dwellers with a couple of my other guys again to try to maybe take them out of combat like for one turn.
Yeah.
And he killed a couple of wargs. He did actually get back a wound because of that on one of them. So that was okay for me too. But what I wanted to do was wreck his line of goblins before the fighting started. So that when the fighting started, I wasn't like trying to swat goblins and fight off the dwellers at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, okay, firing into them. He had fury up. And so I'm like, okay, let's do the heroic accuracy with crossbow trick. And lo and behold, killed the shaman. And I'm like, yes. And I still have a whole another turn of shooting as well.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if I'd killed a goblin or two by then or not. And I had another turn of shooting, and I may have killed another couple of goblins. And then the following turn was where the fighting was going to start. So we both charged. He moved up, didn't hang back, moved right up, and I charged him. And he had a small front line of goblins with no shaman. And I charged him with my ERRA and wrapped around him. And I had spear support too.
Yeah.
Right? He murdered me. I couldn't believe it. I've never seen it happen that bad before. And I'm exaggerating by saying he murdered me, but like I killed, I think, one of his guys in the opening combat, and he killed at least 3 or 4 of mine.
Sixes?
Yeah, I just could not roll over a 3, and it seemed like every die he rolled was a 5 or a 6. And so I was like, okay, we'll get him the next round. And fought another round of combat, and, it was basically the same thing. We were fighting, like, even Steven at best for me.
Yeah.
And I think the game ended after that turn. So it was like...
killed their shaman and they were angry.
Yeah, like, I killed the shaman, and I'm like, oh, great, this game is quite likely mine. And it was like, slap upside the head. Nope. So that was a game to remember for sure.
Yeah.
Because it was like... Anyway.
Game 4.
4, yeah.
We played To the Death.
Yes.
I played Jason from the OHA.
Okay, yeah, and he had, what did he have?
I think he had...
I saw he had
Mordor?
some orcs.
He had some Mordor, and then I think he had a little mixture of Isengard in there, because he had Saruman and Grima. Ugh.
Oh, okay.
First time I've played against that guy.
Who, Grima?
Yeah, hate him. Could like play the game for the rest of my life and never play against him again.
Yeah, it's an interesting point level to play him at, because you don't have a lot of guys, so it's hard to lock him down, and you probably don't have a wizard, so you can't Sorcerer's Blast him, which are the 2 ways you handle him. But on the other hand, you only probably have 2 characters, so there's not a lot of might for you to...
Well, he shut Legolas down.
Yeah.
And that really messed me up. Yeah, so... but yeah, also 1 Sorcerer's Blast, taking out 6 Mirkwood Rangers. My fault for setting up in a silly position, but that pretty much sealed the fate of that game.
What, he did 1...
He's like...
Sorcerer's Blast, rolled a 6,
and you go over there.
He rolled a strike.
Yeah. Yeah. It was not good. I lost a lot of guys. And then it was, after that, it was just downhill, so... Downhill.
I played against Antonio.
Okay.
And we had really similar armies.
Yeah,
the only difference was I think I had a couple more guys because I had a whole bunch of scouts, and he had all warriors and berserkers and stuff. But we had, we both had Vrasku, we both had some crossbows, and both had a captain.
Typical Isengard.
Yeah. So what did we do? We were both getting tired at this point because it was game 4. And we were just like, yeah, you good to stand back and shoot? Yep, me too. So that's what we did. We stood and fired for probably like 3/4 of the game.
Wow.
And then right at the very end of the game, we were to the point where like I could have charged in one of my warbands against one of his. And I'm like, well, this would be me charging my scouts into like a whole bunch of your berserkers, and this is definitely going to be the last turn, and I could possibly be broken here. So yeah, I gotta move back. So that game just kind of fizzled out, and it ended in a tie.
Yeah.
So the last game was Capture and Control.
This is my first time playing this mission.
Yeah, me too.
It's not a very common... It is tough to play this mission, especially with the list I took. like my guys want to stand and shoot at stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to run off and claim objectives.
Yeah.
I played against Michael, who you had played against a couple
Yeah.
games earlier, and he just says spiders ran and he claimed objectives, and it was not good for me. There's a little bit of fatigue throughout the day had finally set in,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a point where I had a Mirkwood Ranger in combat with a Dweller with 1 wound left, and instead of standing still with Legolas and auto shooting, like auto hitting him, I
Yeah.
ran him into the combat like an idiot. And he ended up killing Legolas.
Okay.
So
I'm struggling to remember how this mission works.
there's 5 objectives.
Yeah.
They start as neutral,
Oh yeah. Okay.
and then you
flip.
end
turn
your
them on.
turn, and it flips them to your side, and then you can leave them,
Yeah.
and they are still claimed for you.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone from the opposing team runs up, and that's what ended up happening. I had claimed I think the 2 on my side, and then I ran up to get another one on his side, and I only had a couple Mirkwood Rangers there, and they got killed, and then he just claimed it with his spider. And
Right,
I think by the end of the game he had all 5.
Yeah.
And the only thing I had left was my Mirkwood Ranger captain. He's like, "Oh God, don't kill me."
I ended up playing a young guy named Cuin.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was there with his friend Nick.
Yep.
And it was their first OSBGL tournament, and surprising, they were from Barrie, so they're like from our area here.
Yeah, we talked with him.
And they play at Sir Games a lot, which we go to occasionally.
I was there
and-
today.
Yeah, and we both know Vince very well, the owner. Yeah, so that was kind of a surprise because these guys just they came out of nowhere basically, and so it was great
Yeah.
to get a couple of new players and
Was-
from our area because we don't have as many people playing in our area, which is north of Toronto, as there are like in the Hamilton area and all that.
Yeah,
so
we're
it was good.
we're the true Northerners.
Yeah, so
House Stark, I guess you could say.
so he brought Durin's folk.
Yep.
A pretty typical army, led by a captain, and he had Balin as well. So
Okay.
I know that inside and out because I play it all the time
Yep.
as well. And it was a straightforward game. I outnumbered him. I just marched forward again, and we just had a good old fight in the middle, and I ended up winning the game. I don't remember the exact number of points, but
Yep.
I basically won by objective. And I spent a fair amount of time talking to his mom and dad because
We did.
it was the last game, and I guess his mom and dad drove him and Nick down to the tournament and went off shopping for
Yeah.
the day or whatever. And so they came back and ended up talking to them for quite a while because they were like surprised to hear that we were from that area. And anyways.
They got their models out, and they came and played some games.
That's right.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah,
Like brand new. Well, they've been playing up in Barrie for a while,
they have.
but
yeah.
they haven't come to an event. And here you go.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
get your stuff and come out and have fun.
Yep.
It was
They
good.
just lifted the thing off the ground and said, "What's under here?" So, oh my God, there's like a whole bunch of people playing in a
Yeah.
league here.
It's like people play the Hobbit.
Yeah.
What?
So that was it. That was game 5.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of a wrinkle in the scoring. Evan had like a bit of I guess he was using an app on his phone to run the thing, and of course it crashes
Yeah.
halfway through. So Ben, who's our commissioner, I know he jumped in and gave Evan a hand. So there was like maybe a 10-minute delay after the second or
Yeah.
third game or something.
It wasn't that big.
Yeah, I know, and between the two of them, they managed to put things back on course pretty quickly. So
Yeah.
that was a relief. So, and got things tidied up. What about the results?
Well, I was on 3 losses and 2 wins, so I didn't place. You went 2 wins, 2 losses, and a tie.
Yeah, 500.
500, yeah. So neither of us did very well. And we were the only ones, like the Andrews,
Yeah.
who normally go with us, didn't end up going. But first place ended up being Ronan.
Yep.
Congratulations to
Thanks
him.
to you.
Yeah. No, congratulations to my rolling double ones on that captain. I'm going to keep saying that
Yeah.
forever.
Ronan is on a roll.
He
right
is.
Now, eh?
We gotta do no longer hashtag don't let Andrew win.
Yeah.
Don't let Ronan win. That's a new hashtag.
Hashtag don't let Ronan win.
Yeah, there you go. I've claimed it.
Yeah, I thought he's got to be in first place now in the league.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't
he's
think-
won the last two
Yeah,
events.
the standings haven't been updated since the tournament, but
Yeah, because
they've got to be.
this
They've
tournament he won?
still been sitting there with my name at the top.
Yeah,
It's like-
you're just milking
it's
it for as
like-
long
Oh,
as you
yeah.
can. But yeah, no, he
Yeah.
won this one, and the last event, or the event before that, he ran, so he couldn't win that. But then he won the one before that, so he's on the last two events he's been to. He's won. We'll have to stop him at the next one.
Michael, this I'm not sure of actually. I may have written this down wrong, and there was a little bit of confusion on the day.
Yeah.
It was Michael and Derek in second and third, but honestly, I'm not quite sure if I don't remember which was which. I have written down Michael in second and Derek in third, but it might have been Derek.
There's a
in second.
picture
Yeah.
with them all wearing their
Yeah.
shirts.
I think it was announced as Michael in second and Derek in third, but I think it ended up being Derek in second and Michael in third. Anyways,
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Again, it was 3 weeks ago.
yeah,
There was awards for Best Painted.
yeah.
Um,
So Michael,
Michael,
with his Dweller army,
yeah, he won Best Evil,
he won Best Evil.
which was really cool.
Yeah.
And some guy with an awesomely painted army won for good. It was me.
Was it an Elf Ranger army
Yeah,
by any
totally.
chance?
Well, I only have 15 models, so
Your army is pretty sweet.
yeah.
I must admit.
I spent a long
that
time on
actually is-
basing.
That's like, we always talk about soft scores and stuff like that, and this is like a soft prize,
Yeah.
Best Painted. And it's like, that's like the second soft prize that you've won in a row at a tournament, because you won something at the one before that.
Well, I won most themed.
Yeah.
Was it most
For,
themed?
yeah, it was
Yeah,
for your
because I had the
Nazgul,
Nazgul,
Dol
with
Guldur.
the all-hero Necromancer, the 9, and
Yeah.
the Keeper of the Dungeons.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But with my prize, I won a pot, or I bought a large pot of Devil Mud.
Yeah.
Or not Devil Mud, I mean, what's it called? Agrax or something.
Agrax or something, yeah.
Figured
Come
one
on,
for best.
get with the times.
I know, I won for best painted. I may as well buy more of talent in a bottle.
Talent in the bottle, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The other thing we didn't mention was that this was a tournament in the OSBGL league schedule.
Yes.
But like the OHA like really
Yeah, it was like a
helped
toe.
yeah
mingled.
like when Evan sort of welcomed everybody at the beginning, and I forget his exact words, but it was like, an OSBGL tournament in cooperation with the OHA,
Yeah.
something along that nature.
Yeah.
And they brought like all of, well, maybe not all, but they brought a lot of their tables,
did.
and
It was really
it
nice
was
of them to do
yeah,
that.
it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's glad to see that
hopefully
they came
see
out.
more of that in the future.
Yeah, definitely.
So what is next on the schedule? And it is only just over a week away, because it is
Don't remind me.
Wednesday. So I hope you have all your stuff painted for
Nope.
the Desolation of Toronto.
Dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Blackfyre Productions.
Yep.
Adam, Taylor, Lewis. I think that's it.
Yep.
Yeah,
They've done a lot of work for this.
they have.
I was talking with Adam a week and a half ago, or last week.
Mhm.
I think it was last week. At his house when I picked up some of the stuff we had ordered, and we had a long discussion about it. He's got.
Yeah, I talked to him on the phone last week for about an hour
Yeah.
about it. Been texting him. Like,
They've been doing a
constantly.
really good job.
Yeah.
Like they've got crazy stuff. We're getting there's amazing prize support.
It's ridiculous the amount of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's part of a convention.
Yeah.
It's at, pardon me.
I guess we should do where it is happening.
Is it, I might have written that down wrong. The Tabletop Gaming Expo? Is that right?
TGX, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's July 20th, which is Friday, to the 22nd, Sunday.
There's like a big, well, you've got it down there. There's a big game plan for Friday that I think the guys are providing all the models.
Yeah. I wrote it down here.
Battle,
Battle for Caer Andros.
Don't know what that is.
It's a location on the, what's the river that Osgiliath is on? Anyways, if you just go north from there, there's like 2 main crossing points for that river.
Okay.
Osgiliath is one, and that's the other one. And it's like
Wow.
a huge island in the middle of the river, and
Okay.
there is like
Cool.
a fort or town or
So they'll be
whatever on
fighting
there.
over
Yeah,
that,
so it was a strategic location.
Okay, that's cool. But yeah, they're gonna have all the stuff you need for that, right? They're gonna have all
Yeah,
the
they're
models.
providing all the miniatures. I think they're borrowing some of them from certain people in the
Yep.
group. They've designed, I think, 5 or 6 or maybe more custom characters,
That's cool.
like named characters to be in the battle.
It's a good icebreaker.
It is, yeah,
for the
and I
weekend.
think it's a 4x12 board
Yeah.
that they've been making, and I believe that supports up to 12 players.
That's good.
Are we going on Friday night or?
I don't know if I can squeeze that. I took Monday off
Yeah.
to recoup from the weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had some other stuff to do, but I don't know if I can. If I can,
We'll see how it goes.
we'll have to see.
Yeah, and I may be in the same boat, like throwing a third day on top of the pile may be a little bit too much to ask for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, so you pay $80 to get, and it gets you into the convention for all 3 days.
Yeah, which is
And that's
very
all.
good.
That's all you pay. So for value for money, that's good value for money.
Yeah.
For 3 days of gaming.
it's in Toronto
It's in Mississauga, yeah.
at the Sandman Signature Mississauga Hotel.
Mm-hmm. Never heard of it,
No,
but I'm sure it'll be nice.
they've got 24 people of the 32 signed up.
Yeah, and Adam has been busting his butt
Yeah.
trying to get people to sign up.
If you haven't signed up
Yeah,
and you're free that weekend,
you gotta go.
just come out and have fun.
Yeah.
There's going to be a few people there, I know, with talking with Adam last week, that are new to the tournament scene, and they've been to events but not actually participated. They're
Yeah.
going to be there.
Yeah.
So don't think just because you've never played a tournament, like I've talked this point to death basically. I prefer going to tournaments because it's where you get the maximum number of games in the smallest amount of time.
Yeah.
And you get all kinds of knowledge on the game.
Yep.
You're playing against people
It
in the
is
league
it is literally like tossing you into the deep end.
yeah.
That's what going to a tournament is if you've never been, or you're not sure on the rules, or you have miniatures and never played the game or whatever. It is like into the pool.
Yeah.
Come to a tournament.
Have fun. But there's a lot of people that will actually take time and teach you how to play. And we have like 2 hours, almost 3 hours to play our game.
2 hours 45 minutes. I looked it up just before we came
there's
downstairs.
a lot of time. Like, just come out and have fun.
That's great too because you don't have to rush or anything like that. It's 1,000 points.
Yeah.
So people are gonna have big armies. You need that kind of time.
Or they're gonna have like 3 model armies.
Well.
Or 2 model armies.
Yeah.
Or 1 model army. No, I can't have 1. But
Yeah. Well, we were talking about that just earlier. We'll get back to that after this, but.
It's Saturday and Sunday is the main days.
Yeah.
There's 6 games over the course of the 2 days.
3
So
on
3
Saturday, 3 on Sunday.
We already know what the scenarios are because they've been posted. I'm not 100% sure on the order, but
They've selected these scenarios, and he's gonna randomly determine the order,
okay.
which is great, except for one thing. You can't have Heirlooms of Ages Past be the last tournament or the last game.
Yeah, that's
That would be
an unfun one to end the
like
day with.
if it comes like often, top table, the winner is gonna win, and that one there, like if somebody turns over the artifact like on turn 1 or turn 2, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, all your army's on that side of the board, and I just found it over here. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, so maybe not have that one as the last mission, but but it's domination.
Yep.
Probably the best mission.
Correct.
To the death.
A fun one.
Hold ground.
Yep.
Maelstrom. Lords of Battle. Reconnoiter, and Heirlooms, also Maelstrom.
Yeah.
Good selection of missions.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of missions that require mobility there.
Yeah. I had to rethink my list about 6 times to try and make mobility part of it. And I still don't have a list decided.
I do finally, but oh my god, it's like these open-ended comp things are killing me.
Yeah.
Because it's like
Yeah.
I just can't stop. I was talking to Drew about it. And what did he call it? like I've gone into the swirl, like where you're like, you settle in on your army and you're like, well, what about if I just replace these 5 guys with this?
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good idea. Well, now that I have that guy, what if and it just is never ending. And you can go outside your faction, do whatever you want. It's just restricted by what models you have.
You know what? And I've done this with other games. I've had an army list or a deck of cards in a card game or whatever ready and set up, and this is what I'm taking. And then the night before I go, you know what? I gotta take this. Yeah. And I change it up, and I take something that I'm not familiar with, and I go and I lose every game. And I'm like,
what did I do?
If I had have taken that thing that I knew how to play, I might have done better. So
do you know what you're taking, or you don't know what you're taking?
I was tossing around the idea of doing Harad.
Well, because you have a big army of that, it'd be good.
It's all painted and stuff like that. There are items and models that I need to paint to add to it, but it's a very small amount of them. And then I was like, well, you know what? Maybe at this point level I can take a huge army of Thror and just throw an absolute ton of dwarves down the table and have their little waddly feet run across the table. That's probably what I'm going to take.
It's a strong army.
And I want to take just that army. I don't want to add any junk from other factions. We're going to be pure army of Thror, because the banner special rule that army gets is absolutely busted.
It is probably one of the top army rules.
Yeah. It's a 6-inch banner, man.
Yeah, it is really good.
It's like, instead of having a little 6-inch zone of banner influence, this thing's like a 12-inch bubble.
Yeah.
And
I feel cheated because like, I'm taking Uruk-hai or Isengard, and it's going to be pure.
But you have no
Uruk-hai.
special rule.
What's that thing? Oh, pure West.
Yeah, yeah.
That was. Yeah, it's going to be pure Uruk-hai, right? But no army bonus. No. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Come on.
It's because you don't. It's an old list.
It is, yeah. Yeah, and he's not using the rules for Throne of Skulls where they had the army bonuses.
But
for
like,
everybody.
there is the drawback in the fact that I don't have anything fast, and I don't have access to wizards, and people like wizards.
Let's not get into the wizards discussion, or we'll be here for another 2 hours.
Okay. We already talked about the prize support. Oh no, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
The prize support.
So save that one for the end.
Okay.
But like, for probably like, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, Adam was like every other day almost. He's been posting like, you know, look at this thing that we got for prize support from, you know, this company. And like, there's a lot of good stuff. Like,
very cool.
Really good stuff. Yeah. Like, he had amazing prize support and a lot of it. Mm-hmm. And then...
Yeah. I don't know how he did it.
I know how he did it.
Yeah.
He asked.
That's all he did.
That's all he did. He asked.
Well, there you go. That's all you need to do is ask. We're getting the ring trophies.
Yeah. 3 of the GW resin Lord of the Rings trophies.
This is the Canadian tournament.
I mean, that's incredible. Like, that's an amazing prize. Like, even if he didn't get any of all that other stuff,
just these alone.
Just those alone,
I think
would be great.
When he posted those pictures, I think I was like the second or third person to respond to it, and it was like, well, there goes me taking a fun list. And then
that was when I went into a flurry of okay, I'm taking the Undying, and I'm taking this, I'm taking that, and I was like, okay, and then eventually that
my
petered
competitiveness
out. Yeah, and
started showing.
I went back to pure Uruk-hai.
Pure Uruk-hai.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how I do. I don't know. And there are even like we've got a few people coming out from the U.S. to play.
I think there's like 5 or 6 people actually.
Oh, is there really?
Yeah.
I looked at the list earlier, and I know Devin and his brother.
Yeah.
So I knew their names, and then Jacob Hall's coming as well. Yeah. So we all know him.
And then there's at least 1 or 2 other people coming up.
Okay, I didn't realize that there were other people.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, like, that's cool.
5 people from the States coming. That's cool.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. Anything else? What else are we missing about that?
Nothing really.
Yeah. Looking forward to a good time. It's going to be
Yeah.
a lot of fun. Oh, the other thing is that we're going to have our first annual, well, we don't know if it's going to be this time every year, but it's basically the beginnings of the OSBGL having an annual members meeting.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and we're all really looking forward to that.
Can all
Just
sit down
to-
and have a big discussion.
Yeah, so after all the games are over on the Saturday, we're going to get together in a room there at the hotel.
Okay.
Like, I think they're getting us like a little sort of conference room or whatever. For
So we
us
can
to
close
meet.
the doors
So
and yell
yeah,
at each
so
other.
hopefully the majority of people that are there come,
Yeah.
and so we're gonna basically be introducing a few new concepts for the group, and really getting feedback from all of the members.
Yep.
That's the main thing. So we're talking about videoing it and have a little slideshow type deal. So it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it'll be good to have a healthy discussion.
Yep.
For the league.
Definitely.
But I think that covers everything for that.
It does. So looking forward to the Desolation of Toronto, and I know he's got some tickets left.
Yeah.
I think he's probably. I talked to him today. He's sitting at around 24 out of 32, but he's thinking he's got a few people, like 2, 3, 4 people that are gonna come, but just haven't paid yet or prefer to pay like on the day.
If you're
or
free,
whatever.
just come out and play.
Yeah.
First of all, because I don't want to have to play against Andrew Don, and the more people that go, increase my chances of not having to play them. Yeah, no, it'll be good. I'll be excited. Right now I'm in panic mode about getting stuff ready, but
How many miniatures you gotta paint?
depends on what I take. It's between, I don't know, somewhere in the 7 to 20 range.
20.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The 20's probably not happening, but I'll just make a list the night before.
No, you won't.
No, I won't.
I only have about maybe 4 or 5 to paint. That's why I keep playing with Urukai, because I don't have to paint
Yeah,
much.
I've got stuff that I could use, but it's not painted to the same level that my other stuff is, so
It's 1,000 points, man.
yeah.
Just pull the figures out.
Throw
Use
stuff on
them.
the table. You are the guys that die first.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. Are we going to do...
A Flotsam and Jetsam?
yeah,
We will.
we will.
We will. It's 7:55. We'll put a time limit on this. We'll keep it under control. But what are we going to talk about?
We could talk about this
I know, yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
What did we decide? Because there's 2 different things.
We were going to talk a little bit more, I think, about Desolation in Toronto, but more in regards to tournaments, tournament comp, and specifically ones that allow you to have free range of picking between factions. So it's not single faction only. You can pick from whatever you want. Like normally we have certain restrictions in ours, like there's a couple.
Usually we have the 4 model minimum. That's a standard.
And there's a
thing.
few banned models that we usually ban. The 0 Point Golem and
Bombadil, Tom
Bombadil,
Goldberry.
and Goldberry. That's it, right?
Yeah, but other than that, like we don't really have a whole lot of restrictions.
Well,
Some tournaments will come out with their flair, like Evan did with his last event, where you have to take certain things. So that's like a composition restriction.
I love it. I love heavy comp tournaments. I love it. And the less restriction, the more open it is, the more I not dislike it, but the more I struggle to come up with a list, just because you end up in this endless swirl.
You're like, ooh, this is good.
What you can take, and I have so much respect for people that just like say, I'm going to work on this army now, and just paint the entire army, and then regardless of comp restrictions or whatever, they bring that army to the tournament, and it's single faction. It's like, why can't I do that?
I'm trying my best.
I wish I could do that, because that's what I want to do, because it's like I'm getting tired of the endless trying to find the most competitive army, because that's what it is. Right?
Well, it comes back to
it
the us weeks before the event are like, oh man, I want to take this. Okay, well I don't have that painted, so now I've got to rush to get that painted.
Yeah.
And we keep saying that we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. That's kind of why I've been working hard on the Army of Thror. I want to get, like, I've got pretty much everything I need. I just need to paint up a few more things, do the final touches, but then it's like, I have 1,000 points worth of basically Grimhammers, which are going to become awesome, hopefully. If they don't, I'm going to be so mad. But yeah, like I want to play single faction. I don't want to cherry pick, like pick all the good.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, this thing's good. This thing's awesome.
Yeah, well,
like ooh, there's a shade.
Look at what you were just looking at upstairs in my living room.
Yeah.
A box that I got this week from Games Workshop.
Yeah.
And it contained 3 blister packs, none of which are any longer in the army that I'm taking.
Because you change your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all good models that I'll
I have
use.
a whole cupboard full of stuff that's like that.
So that stuff is just going to go on the pile now and you know, on the list of stuff to be painted.
Well, back to the whole army restriction thing. This Desolation of Toronto, they're 1,000 points. They didn't want to put restrictions on it. That's great. Like, you got to have those occasionally.
Yep. And 1,000 points is
1,000
where you
points.
do it.
It's hard to restrict people at 1,000 points because people don't have.
Because it's like, okay, if you have Goblin Town and you're being restricted to 1,000 points, yeah, you're not playing.
Well, you have like 100 models on the table.
Yeah.
Like turn 1, time's up.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna move all these guys. Like Nova is a big one. They're 750 points, and you can only have 2 factions.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that too.
It's definitely helps.
Yeah.
With the whole picking the best from like armies.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't like that. We in other game systems like Warhammer, we call it the soup list, and it's kind of we're just picking stuff at random and throwing it in the pot.
Yeah.
So you have a mixture of a whole bunch of everything. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Like,
and
it's not
like don't take it wrong when you say I don't like that, it's like saying like I don't like ketchup chips or I don't like pizza with, you know, mushrooms on it. It's like it's pizza. Like everybody loves all kinds of pizza or all kinds of chips.
Just my personal preference.
Yeah, it's like that one is just like our personal preference is to be more comp restrictive.
Yeah. I like the game because it has that I'm taking this army and we've seen this stuff in the movies, we read the stuff in the books.
Yeah.
I want to take the Army of Thror, or I want to take a Isengard force. And in the movie, like, Isengard is Isengard.
Yeah.
There's not like
or
Isengard and a shade.
Yeah.
Or
well, there was that scene in the book that was at night and it was pitch black and Legolas supposedly shot out a Nazgul from the sky. So,
that's
you
true.
know, there was them, so you could have a Ringwraith and Nazgul in your... No.
No. Doesn't happen in the movies.
No.
But yeah, like, comp restriction, it has its place.
It's hard this game, though.
Yeah.
When you compare this game to, like, Warhammer or now Age of Sigmar or 40K, they have historically had, like, really firm and detailed, hard restrictions for comp. Like, different tournaments I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to do it in Lord of the Rings and Hobbit because of the way the armies are built and the units are selected.
Yeah.
And everything like that. Because everything is different. Like they're, you know, in 40K they have all the different categories of troops and stuff. And they don't have anything like that in Lord of the Rings.
Like a goblin takes up 1 spot in a warband. But so does a cave troll.
Yeah.
Or what is that? A Gundabad troll, like those huge monstrous things. Take up 1 spot. And the difference between those two is huge.
Yeah. Like the only way you can do it is really by points, like units that are worth over X points, or like they do have different labels for units like cavalry, monsters. Is there one for infantry, or is it just a nothing? It's
I think they're just anything that's not.
Yeah, or heroes.
Yeah.
Or siege engines. But even like you get into some tournaments, like comp restrictions will be you can't have more than one of the same model. Like, so for example, if you applied it to Lord of the Rings, you would say if you're taking a cave troll, you can only have one of them.
Yeah.
Right? Or they'll have like a certain amount of points set aside, like tournament points set aside for comp.
Yeah.
And you start with that amount of points. And every time you break their comp restrictions, you lose those points. So you can like build the dirtiest army you can come up with and get 0 if you want.
Yeah.
Or go 100% by the comp and get that full block of points.
Yeah.
The thing is too with Hobbit is that even if you restrict people to single faction, like you still have a few armies out there where you can build like ridiculously top-notch competitive armies, single faction.
Yeah.
Like we here on Green Dragon all the time they talk about the different lists and stuff like that, and like Mordor they have a whole source book to themselves.
Yeah.
Right? So like you can say somebody that you're restricted to single faction. Someone that plays Mordor is like no big deal. It doesn't hold me back whatsoever. Right? It's like the biggest thing is I can't take a shade.
Yeah.
Right, okay. But you can take anything else. You can take Shelob and like 5 ring wraiths and lots of other dirty stuff in there.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's comp restriction. I want to see more of it.
Yeah, I think. Well, if you look at the way the new book's laid out, they've got the heroes, they've got all the infantry or troops for the war bands, and they're in their separate sections. And then after that, there's a page, and it says, if you want to take this specific list, this is what's involved. So it's kind of like doing the source book thing.
What book is this you're talking about?
The Desolation, well, it's not Desolation, There and Back Again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it's the good heroes followed by the good troops.
Yeah.
And then the evil heroes and evil troops, and then at the end of that, has a breakdown of all the armies, and this one has a special rules to go with those armies if you only take these things.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why, you're starting, like that when they had Throne of Skulls and they put out that beta list of like army rules, that's kind of like
this is the direction we're going.
It's more of like, yes, this is the direction we want you to go, and we're going to reward you for doing it with this. It's
taking the single faction and only taking from that list and getting this special rule because of it is the benefit, or that's what they're trying to give to you to outweigh the benefit of taking like stuff from other lists.
Yeah.
And in some armies it's really good, like in Army of Thor, you get that huge banner ability. But in others it's...
Yeah, I like the idea. I think it's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Their first beta list, there were some that were a little bit to be desired. Like some were too good and some weren't good enough.
Yeah.
So, I think it was really a good idea to put out that beta list if that's what they're going to do, if they're going to go in that direction, because I'm sure they got a ton of feedback on it.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, I don't think they should be afraid to use, like, generic army bonuses. Maybe have, like, 5 generic army bonuses and you get to pick one of them if you go single faction.
Oh,
like, what they're trying to do is come up with a specific rule for every army, and that's a really hard thing to do.
It is.
Some of them come naturally, right?
Yeah.
It's like the one for Army of Thor. It's a great rule. It fits well with the army, right? But some of them, like, some were good, some were not good enough, some were too good, and some just really didn't fit the army well.
Yeah.
So, like, I think maybe they should look at, like,
generic
taking,
would be a good idea.
like, what do they call that now in 40K where you have the command points or whatever?
Command points.
Yeah. So what do the command points get you?
You can spend them on command. I think they're called command traits.
Yeah.
And they're like special one-time use, or
Yeah.
you can use them over multiple times, but it uses up a certain amount of your command
But there are
points.
generic ones of those,
There
right?
are, yeah.
And then there are army
Army
specific.
specific,
Like
yeah.
I would like them to see like go that way. So, like if you come with an army that where the potential is maybe not as great to come up with an army specific rule.
Yeah.
Well, you don't really have to. Just make one army specific rule, and then you have to pick from the generic stuff.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing wrong with that.
Maybe you get like a free horn or something like that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
a war horn to give your army bonus. Like instead of a war horn given to a guy, like your army just has +1 courage.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's...
Or like you did you listen to the last Green Dragon where they talked about the tournament, the Silmarillion tournament
Yep.
they went to, and how they had all the table bonuses.
Yeah.
Like if they had 3, it was a good versus evil tournament, and they had like say 3 boards on one table, and it was all row hand.
Yeah.
And if good took over the table because they won the majority of the games, every good army that played on that would get a certain benefit, and it would be like after deployment you're allowed to redeploy 1 unit.
Yeah.
Or you know, you get 1 turn where you get to call priority, or you automatically get priority. That was for something else, but something like that.
Yeah.
Like these are things that could be generic army bonuses,
Yeah.
right?
No, generic would be something to think about too.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we've been talking on...
So last point, 4 model minimum.
Yeah. It has to be.
Yeah.
Like, we were talking before we came down about this, and it's like, you can do the 3 model or even 2 model lists,
Yeah.
and...
We talked about it before, I know, but
Or 1 model list,
yeah,
and it's...
in a competitive game,
Yeah.
you have to have that.
Yeah.
You have to have it.
Well, when games end based on
Yeah.
a breaking or a 25%... and
Well, not only that, but like by not having a 4 model minimum, you can deny victory points to your opponent.
It's true.
So why would you not? Like if you're gonna take Smog,
Yeah.
like why would you ever?
Well, it's not even just Smog.
Yeah.
Like, you can take 2 of those new Mahud...
Oh yeah.
the Mahud Kings. I think you can take more than 1, but they're 400 points each. So you could take 2 of those and, I don't know, a Ring Wraith on Felbeast or something.
Dragon.
A dragon, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you could do that. It's 3 models.
Yeah. Yeah, and then when you're playing it, and you're like, what's the one mission now? I forget which one it is. It's worth, like, if you break the opponent and don't get broken, it's 5 victory points.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, there's 3 or 5 victory points that you can't get.
Yeah, so you're kind of denying your opponent the ability.
And they do have, there's at least 1, maybe more now, that actually give a victory point or 2 for 25%ing.
Yeah.
Right, so this is all stuff that you're not going to be able to get.
Well, you can, but you have to wipe them off the board. And
Yeah.
in cases where people are having model
Well,
counts that low...
that leads to the other question, and that is when you massacre someone, i.e. and not wipe them off the table, how many victory points do you get?
Yeah.
It just says you win. Like, it's in the rules that you win if you massacre your opponent.
Yeah, like does
But
the
how,
game
like
end
in a
right time?
tournament, it's like, okay, so you get the 3 for the win, he gets a 0 for the loss, but how many victory points do you get? Do you get 1 to show that you won, or do you get maximum, or what do you get?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Does the game end right at that exact moment, or do you play out until the time's out? And I don't know, some game systems do that. Like,
Yeah.
if you wipe the opponent off the table, you automatically win, you get full points. But other game systems, you might not actually win. Like Shadespire, for instance, is a game.
Mhm.
Like, you could lose all of your guys and still win the game because your opponent has less victory points than you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Or like if you're playing Reconnoiter,
yeah.
right, and the game, and you wipe the guy out. I forget if that one ends at 25% or not, but just hypothetically, like if you wipe the guy out and you say, well, like, can't I still keep going? Because like basically all my guys are going to get off the table now. It's like, well, no, because the game ends.
Yeah. We'll have to look it up. I think there might be a rule, but
Maybe they'll touch on this a little bit more in the new rule book.
Yeah, Battle of Pelennor Fields.
Yeah, hopefully. That would be good.
Pretty cool.
All right. I think it's enough.
We've rambled
Yeah.
for like almost 20 minutes. we like especially the 4 model.
Yeah.
Like I used to give it a hard time about having 4 model minimum, but now like I can definitely see after playing the game for as long as I have that it needs to have. Especially with the new missions.
You end up playing an army with 4 ring race on Felbeast, and it's like, hey, shock! Yes, we know Felbeasts are really good.
Yeah.
And now you have an army of 4 of them. At least you can break the guy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. At least you can 25% the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So there.
Or he played against Smog by himself, twice. And you can't win. It's Smog.
Oh, that was bad.
I don't like Smog.
No. I've never played him. I've read through the rules a couple times because I go to tournaments and say, this will be the tournament, I'm going to play Smog. Yeah. And then, nope, don't play him.
You're one of the lucky ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, I'd rather play against you or Andrew than play against the Smog.
Yeah. Yeah, well, playing against one model is not why I play Lord of the Rings. If I wanted to do that, I'd still be playing 40k.
Yeah, play against big monsters.
Yeah.
But it is a model they produce, and if people want to bring it, then...
Yeah, it's a model that you buy and paint and put it on your shelf and look at it and be impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And use it in the scenarios.
Yeah, use it in the scenarios. Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
Enough about our Smog hate.
Yeah. Next time, we got to be quicker with recording our adventures in Middle Earth.
Well, the tournament is in a week and a half. Well, a week and a bit. We'll just record the week after. Maybe.
Sounds good. Well, you're off the day after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you off?
No.
Well, we're not filming the day
I
after.
was going to be off the day after because I was getting somebody to come to the house to give me a quote on something. And they weren't available that day. So I got the following Monday off. And we'll see how it goes. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode.
Get your models. Buy a ticket to TGX.
Yeah.
And come and play.
And come and play against us.
And
Isengard.
We didn't mention
Army
this,
of
but
Thror.
if you're new, you don't need to have your stuff fully painted.
That's right. Yeah.
Just
bring your bare models.
Yeah.
Stick them on a base.
Just as long as they're on a base.
That's right.
I'd rather
we have someone coming with a Disney themed army.
I think.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
That'll be cool.
Yeah. You didn't hear about it?
No.
Oh, I won't ruin it then. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in the next one.
Okay.
It's gonna be
because we'll have seen it. Maybe we'll have pictures of it.
Yeah, maybe we'll play against it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, get your stuff. Sign up.
Get your stuff out.
If you haven't signed up already, sign up.
Yeah. And get your models out.
Yeah.
And come and play some games with us at the OSBGL.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.